Have you ever heard these statements? I hate speaking English in front of the class. My heart starts beating faster every time my teacher asks me a question. I am ashamed of speaking English because of my accent. I get upset that I just cannot verbalize what I am thinking. People might think I am stupid because I cannot express my thoughts in English. So these were some statements which are going to reflect my talk. And the topic of my talk is effects of speech anxiety on students' oral performance at BS level and analysis. And that is a brief sketch of my talk. Respected audience, language is a social activity to communicate with one another. It shapes our identity, religion, physical environment, and culture of a society. It makes the interaction easy and possible. If we talk about the aspects of language, there are three aspects. First one is the accent, second one is the grammar, and the third one is the vocabulary. That is the integrated model for language skills formula. Basically, listening and reading are the input, while speaking and writing are output. The more you listen, the more you speak. If we talk about the importance of language, it comes next to code. It means that is a means of social control. That is God's special gift to mankind. That is the flesh and blood of human culture. It makes us different from the animals. The current status of English language in Pakistan is that it has become international language. That is a window on the world, and that is someone's personal passport. That is the language of science and technology, and the language of high courts. That is having a very sound market value, and the language of higher examinations. There are fourfold aims of teaching English language in Pakistan. The first one is their listening comprehension, reading comprehension, speaking ability, and writing ability. So speaking comes after listening. Language is what we speak, very basic necessity of human beings. Without it, we cannot get proper place and space in society. Every speaker needs a listener. If we talk about its importance, everywhere we have to speak, no conscious effort is required. Students also want to speak English, but they feel shy. They first listen to the teacher and then they speak. Speaking our language is always daunting at first. Speak clearly, simply, and slowly is the core concern. What is anxiety? Basically, that is one of the conceivable features of second language learning. That is a subjective feeling of tension, apprehension, nervousness, and worry. That is a state of uncertainty which affects mental as well as physical state. Sweating, forgetfulness, palpitation, and difficulties in language learning that interferes with the learning process and impairs the performance of the learners. What is the foreign language anxiety? Basically, that is a distinct complex of self-perceptions, beliefs, feelings, and behaviors related to classroom learning arising from the uniqueness of the language learning process. Anxious students tend to overstudy. Their course grades often don't reflect their efforts. What are the sources of anxiety? Basically, the sources of anxiety are teacher-centered classroom, fear of losing oneself, and making the errors, and speaking target language in front of the fellows or the peers. That is the language anxiety, communication apprehension. Second one is the fear of negative social evaluation, and the third one is the test anxiety. If we talk about the communication apprehension, that is arising from learners' inability to express thoughts and ideas, while fear of negative social evaluation comes from a learner's need to make a positive social impression on others, and the test anxiety, that is the nervousness from academic evaluation. There are three kinds of anxiety: trait, state, and situation specific. If we talk about the significance of the study, the findings can be used to facilitate the students to discover appropriate strategies to overcome the anxiety problems. and also to the existing view of the knowledge about the anxiety. Now, I would like to move towards the literature review. How do I know what I think until I see what I say? Speech is power. It is to persuade, to convert, to compel. Speech is the most important aim in language teaching. Anxiety is a horrible feeling just as fear. Anxiety is a complex and multidimensional phenomena. The objectives of my study were to investigate the sources of anxiety at BS level, to improve speaking skills of the students, and to investigate the levels of speech anxiety at BS level. The hypothesis of the study was students experience high level of speech anxiety in English language classes. 100 students and 20 teachers of BS level from the Islamic University of Bahawalpur participated in this study. If we talk about the research methodology, that was experimental in nature, and the approach was quantitative and random sampling was done. A questionnaire for the teachers and a questionnaire for the students were used as a tool to collect the data from the respondents, and that was the questionnaire. And these are the factors which I deduced from the collection of the data. The importance of speaking English, that was the 80%. Authentic material use, that was the 80%. Use of pictures, that was 90%. And the confidence development, that was 90%. And that is the graphic description of my data. Now, I would like to move towards the conclusion. No teacher can guarantee that a class will be anxiety-free. However, teachers should be aware of trying to minimize the anxiety in the classroom to strengthen language learning efficiency. For further research, there is a need for empirical evidence concerning how effective anxiety-reducing techniques are in second language learning classroom. Teachers are encouraged to be aware of students' anxiety about language learning to better help them manage their anxiety. Activities that help learners cooperate and depend on their peers foster an environment conducive to development of community. Maintaining the development of communicative competency is a tool to help learners how lower their level of anxiety. Provide students with ample opportunities for oral practice in the class. Providing the opportunity for learners to face their fears is more important than simply protecting them from speaking second language. The suggestions and recommendations are: teachers should emphasize on English as a medium of instruction in English classes. Teachers should promote interactive techniques while teaching English, especially speaking skills. Teachers should present these activities in an enjoyable, relaxed, and comprehensive way. For the enrichment of speaking skills, teachers should cultivate English communication culture within the classroom. Students should be encouraged and motivated to speak and respond in English with fellow students. And some refresher courses for better teacher training should be arranged. Thanks for joining me. And any question, please?
Dear Safdar, thank you for this informative and beautiful presentation. Thank you so much. Dear researchers, if you have any questions, you can ask dear Safdar. Okay, otherwise,